What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video I am diving back into the Holiday Cup with another strong team. Trevenant, Jellicent, and Dewgong there. Somewhat of a ABB, ABA, depending on how you look at it. But ultimately, these three Pokemon have been performing really well in this meta, and that's because of how common Lanturn and Vigoroth are. Dewgong is going to be our safe swap in almost all situations, and the double Ghost Core does really well against Vigoroth teams, which is always nice to have as it's such a common Pokemon. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Altaria on the lead. Obviously, a very tough lead, so we are going to be swapping into Jellicent this time. I know I said Dewgong is our safe swap, but that was in most situations. A situation like Altaria Lead, Dewgong is a much harder answer, and the whole point of the water safe swap is to draw out the Lanturns. That's ultimately our goal right here. So I'm going to go ahead and no shield, right? There's no point. I'm not winning this mid-game matchup. But they went for a Surf, which is very dangerous for them because I wasn't trying to win Switch. And if this is another Surf, which it's likely going to be, I can survive that and go for a Shadow Ball. So what was a very hard lead loss and hard mid-game loss turned into an advantage for me, getting a shield from my opponent. So that's huge. Now, Trevenant coming in right here has a great opportunity to fully farm down with Shadow Claw. Trevenant used to be like top of the meta, like the best, one of the best Pokemon in the Great League, but Seed Bomb got a nerf, unfortunately, so it kind of really fell down as we're going to be able to soak the Thunderbolt right there and fully farm down. Now, the Altaria coming in, look at the energy that we have, and this is why it is a beautiful opportunity for us, is we can easily go for double Shadow Balls. The first, it's going to do about 50%, right? And if you add up the Shadow Claw damage that we're doing right here, this gets the KO, or this gets the final shield, which we're just going to send Dewgong into the matchup right away, and it's actually going to be a Chestnut in the back. Now, I was expecting a Vigoroth, but Chestnut works out too. Either way, we're just going straight Icy Winds because with those applied debuffs, it just gets very tough for these Pokemon to try to overcome a Dewgong. So this is going to be a good game. I got a 2-to-1 shield advantage, obviously. So lead loss in the mid game. Technically a loss on paper here because of the moveset that Chestnut has access to, but Dewgong's very flexible. It's, again, one of the best tanks. It's not overpowered. Boom! But it's very strong, so hopefully you guys have one. Good game. Alright, moving into the next one, we have Trevenant versus Aurorus. Alright, this was a very good game to my opponent. I'm already saying good game right here because this was a wild one. Buckle up. We're going to go ahead and look to go for Drill Run. Now, Meteor Beam is obviously very devastating, so I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield, and it also, it's just a tough situation. This is not a good situation, right? It's a lead, loss, lead, mid-game, however you want to add this up, it is bad. So we're going to go ahead and go for another Drill Run here. Thankfully, it does do super effective damage, so Dewgong has that going for it. And now we have to call the bait. We got a shield, so I'm going to go ahead and call the bait and be like, you know what, this is just going to be a Weather Ball. I'm going to go ahead and let it go, and it was. That's huge. That's huge because had it not been and it was Meteor Beam, then I come in with Jellicent and really start to load up on energy. Now, I'm going to call this one being a Meteor Beam because I have a lot of energy here, and we are going to see the opponent swap out and catch a charge move on Diggersby. This is a huge catch on their part because the Drill Run is only neutral damage where I could have been doing super effective with Dewgong with the Icy Wind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a risky play here. This is risky. I'm going to go for Icy Wind. They clearly don't like Dewgong, and I'm going to come in with Trevenant, hoping that they don't have Fire Punch. That's my hope. I hope it's Scorching Sands and Hyper Beam, but it's not. It's a Fire Punch. So now I have to sack Trevenant. Like, if I don't, I'm going to get farmed down by Aurorus, and the fact that they're very fearful of a Dewgong makes me believe that there's actually going to be a potential flyer in the back, right? If you think about what they have done so far in this game, that would make sense. And the team composition, they're weak to fighting. They need some kind of flyer back there. So we're going to come back in with Dewgong. My hope there was that this thing had Hyper Beam and Scorching Sands, and we would have been good. I would have loaded up to 2 Seed Bombs, and we would have been fine. But that wasn't the case. So now we see that a Mandibuzz comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Icy Wind, and they swap. And I'm like, oh man, this opponent is making some moves today. So I'm going to make moves right back. I'm going to go ahead and load up to Drill Run, and I'm going to swap into Jellicent to catch the charge move. I told you all this is a good game. My opponent is playing very well. We catch the Meteor Beam there, which is huge, able to survive, and now we can actually bubble down, which is awesome. This is why I said I wasn't too worried with the Jellicent in this matchup earlier in the video, because its capability to farm down. Mandibuzz comes back in, and what we need to do is get to 2 surfs. That's our whole goal right now. If we can get to 2 surfs, I think we win this game. My opponent has to throw in order to take us out. And then we also have Icy Wind locked and loaded because I did build up to it and then swap out. So this is going to come down to can we win CMP tie, and can the Icy Wind KO as the Aerial Ace doesn't take us out. They undercharge it, so I counter swap right away and go for Icy Wind. This is going to be doing super effective damage, and the Mandibuzz barely survives but gets a charge move off, but I do sneak through that fast move, so thankfully because the foul play here is not going to be enough, that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Not often I get games like that. That was very fun. Good game to my opponent. All right, moving to the next one, we got Lanturn Lead. Very common. You guys are going to see it. Trevenant really loves Lanturns, and there's the Vigoroth. So we're going to go ahead and load up to Seed Bomb and then come in with Jellicent now. Jellicent can take this mid-game matchup, even if they throw Rock Slides here. You just got to kind of be careful. You got to gauge the health that you have remaining based on the damage that they can do. You don't need to worry about fast moves. It's just that Rock Slide damage. But you do need Bubble as the fast move in this meta. Unfortunately, if you run Hex, you're not going to be able to do as much damage here to Vigoroth. So as you guys can see, things are getting a little dangerous. If I get hit with another charge move there, I'm going to get knocked out. So I'm going to go ahead and opt to throw the Surf right away. If they decide to shield, I farm them down, right? That's all there is to it. And then we will see Lanturn come in. Now, unfortunately, I can't get to a Shadow Ball, so I will just go for the Surf, just do any extra chip damage. But remember, my Trevenant has a Seed Bomb ready to go, which is huge. I purposefully did this, knowing that when I come back in, I can instantly go for it and put a lot of pressure back on this Lanturn, which is already in a tough situation, as we do land it for super effective damage. Now, the fact that we landed that, they didn't shield and maybe swap out, tells me that maybe they're weak in the back, and they're staying in. I'm going to do a hard read here. I'm going to do a hard read, and I'm going to commit to this farm down. I will give up a shield in order to do so, but my thoughts are maybe there's something weak in the back. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something weak to a flyer, so it could be another fighter, but it's actually going to be a Sableye. So this energy is going to go a lot of places because Seed Bomb and Shadow Ball, obviously very devastating to a Sableye, so we're just going to go ahead and go for the Seed Bomb. And this is going to be a wrap. We're going to get into that Dugong as fast as possible so that we can throw that Icy Wind. We're going to be shielding that first charge move as well, because this is going to be the hardest hitting move left in this match, as Icy Wind will be applying that debuff. So Dugong right here, going to take it. Dugong is an incredible Pokemon. You guys have seen me use it time and time again. I really like to bang home that this is a Pokemon that is worth your investment. It's nothing broken, nothing overpowered. If it was overpowered and broken, it would have been nerfed a long time ago, but it's just beautifully balanced. The Icy Wind and Drill Run combination is awesome, so if you do get a good PvP IV like I have over there, something like that, it is worth the elite TMs. Complete honesty. Good game. Alright, moving into the next one. Trevenant versus Chestnut. Okay, so really nice lead here. We resist everything. Frenzy Plant still hurts. You can't sleep on that. And there's an Obstagoon. And Obstagoon's dangerous. Obstagoon is a core breaker and a half. Yeah, so I come in with Dugong here. You're probably wondering, like, what are you doing? This is a bad matchup, and my honest thoughts are, I hope Icy Wind debuffs allow me to win this mid-game matchup potentially, because Icy Wind debuffs are pretty devastating. As you guys can see, Cross Chop actually doesn't do that much. So I'm going to go ahead and go for an Icy Wind here. This could have been a Drill Run. I think it KOs if it's a Drill Run. Because they do survive, so maybe could have gotten away with something there. But now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pray that Dugong is amazing and beautiful and the best tank ever. Yes, it is. We do take switch. They have a Vigoroth in the back. I'm like, oh boy, well, we got Jellicent here against the Vigoroth, and we got Trevenant now against the Chestnut. So that's going to be a good game. Frenzy Plant still hurts, though. Chestnut is a really cool Pokemon. I think it's just held back because of its typing. It's very tough to use a Fighter Grass in a meta where Flyers are very, very common. Just extremely common. So it's kind of tough to use that, but it does have a really good moveset. I mean, you can't knock its moveset. Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, and Superpower. I mean, come on, that's pretty solid. The only other thing it could use is a coverage move to Flyers. So I don't know if it has access to Rock Slide in the main series game, but if it did, that would be a good coverage move. But we're gonna go ahead and let this go. Our win con here is with Jellicent now, shielding the Frenzy Plant, landing Shadow Ball here against the Chestnut. I just got to be careful about the Vigoroth safe swap because that would obviously be deadly. But we do get the Shadow Ball off, and now it's going to be up to Jellicent to face off against Vigoroth here. So we're going to be just going for 2 surfs, should be able to win it. It's going to get very close because Vigoroth's 2 Rock Slides are going to get me extremely low. So here's one already. And the second one, thankfully our ghost typing is just beautiful against the fast move counter. We really can tank a lot of fast moves because of that heavy resistance. So we are going to be able to go for the double surf basically. I need to do one more fast move here, but this surf is going to get Vigoroth low, and then the second one will KO. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. That mid game was very dicey with Obstagoon. I just came in with Dugong, hoping for the best, knowing that Icy Wind debuffs could do something, but good game. All right, moving in the next one, we have Diggersby on the lead. So a little bit of PTSD from the Fire Punch, and they swap into a Chandelure, and I'm like, oh lord, I stayed in way too long. The Chandelure just got 2 Incinerates off on me, which is devastating. I go for the Shadow Ball, and I come in with Jellicent now because Bubble should be able to farm down. So I think that was a slight mistake on my end, staying in that long with my Trevenant. But ultimately, I get to farm down here with Bubble, and having Surf for Diggersby is going to be very nice. Now, they come in with a Credilli, so I can already math out that this is basically going to be a good game. The Diggersby is not going to like my Dugong, and then I can put a lot of work in here with Jellicent and Shadow Ball and Surf. So I decide to no shield. They go for Grass Knot, and we survive, which is huge. I decide to go for the Surf because I don't think I would be able to survive and get to a Shadow Ball in time, so I just went for the guaranteed chip damage. But we did survive, unfortunately, so I could have gotten a free Shadow Ball there, which would have been nice. I'm going to come in with Dugong here. Dugong's energy advantage is going to be the best thing that I can get in this game. Obviously, hardest hitting move left in this game might be Grass Knot, but they also could be running Hyper Beam, so I got to be very careful about that. So I'm going to go ahead and apply Icy Wind debuffs, and thankfully this is my opponent's last Pokemon, which means they can't clear the debuff, which is huge. This is obviously, if you get in these situations, if you're on the Dugong side, it puts your opponent like with their back against the wall. Like, they really can't do much. Now, we saw Scorching Sands there as the charge move, which tells me maybe they do, in fact, have Hyper Beam. So I'm actually going to look to swap into Trevenant to try to secure the win here. So I'm going to go ahead and swap, and we do catch the charge move. Maybe they just threw it anyways. I don't know, the timing was a bit off, but we got the Hyper Beam, so we caught it. I feel like they just threw it anyways, and they know it's a good game, as I can go for Seed Bomb here. So that's going to be a good game, very well played. Again, just securing the win there with Trevenant, knowing that we survived Scorching Sands and Hyper Beam. So good battle. All right, moving to the next one. Lanturn Lead. Okay, so this is a tough one. Not Lanturn isn't. Frostlass is. Frostlass is a tough one, and I come in with Dugong. I mean, honestly, in hindsight, I probably should be going for maybe for Seed Bomb on Trevenant, or just coming straight in with Jellicent and the Bubble and Surf damage. Let those add up, because now I'm just gonna make some bad mistakes. I go for a Drow Run here. It's clearly not enough damage. I'm not gonna be able to take him down with fast moves. So this was just a bad choice. Coming in with Dugong right away. I decide to shield the Shadow Ball, and then go for I overcharge as well, one extra fast move. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just gone for the Icy Wind right away. So I'm making 2 misplays. I shield as well. This is not good. I have to try. This is like everything went wrong. I made the wrong choice coming in. I threw at the wrong times. I had to give up 2 shields. It's just bad news, Bears. And this Lanturn obviously has a lot of health and shields remaining. They don't really need the shields, if I'm being honest, because they can just farm me down with Spark. Now my Trevenant coming in is going to get hit with the charge move, but they have a Shadow Golbat in the back, and this thing has Shadow Ball. So that's a wrap. I'm going to get boomed. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes when it comes to Go Battle League. I do make good plays, right? I'm capable of making good plays, but I make some fumbles here and there, you know, and this is just one of those. So good game to my opponent, capitalizing on my my goofy plays here, and they did a great job overcharging here with Golbat, and then making sure they have double Shadow Balls ready to go. Boom, down I go. Yeah, that one hurt. Good game. All right, moving to the next one, Trevenant versus Lurantis. Okay. Lurantis, a very cool Pokemon, Fury Cutter, Leaf Blade, Superpower. Honestly, like a really well-designed like grass type here. It's a grass type that can go toe-to-toe with like a Registeel, which isn't really common. I mean, back in the day, we used to have, I mean, Trevenant was a grass type that could go toe-to-toe too with Shadow Ball and Shadow Claw. But back in the day, Meganium used to be the one that did that because of Earthquake. But Lurantis with Superpower is pretty nice. Now, those Leaf Blades really took me by surprise. I did quite a bit of damage. We do see a Runerigus come in, so I just safe swap right away into Dugong because I want to save my Trevenant for a potential sack swap. When I have a Pokemon that low, I try to save for sack swaps. Now, I decided to no shield, hoping to call the bait on a Sand Tomb, and I called it correctly, which is huge. And we can go ahead and go for Drill Run here against Jellicent. Now, this Jellicent is going to be tough to take down. I really don't have a lot on my arsenal when it comes to fast moves in order to take it down, so it has to be charge moves. I'm going to go ahead and shield the Shadow Ball there. Look to go for Icy Wind. But I do, offensively, I don't have a lot of good options to take it down quickly. But I do have a good defensive option. Here it is. It's the Trevenant. Saved it. Saved the Trevenant. And it paid off because we were able to catch the Shadow Ball. Boom! Down it goes. And now, we still got an uphill battle to go. This Jellicent has a little bit of energy. We got to come in with Dugong. They swap in to Runerigus right away. So I'm free to go for Icy Winds here. This is super effective damage. And honestly, a huge opportunity for me to take over this game as I can go for an Icy Wind. Now, if this is Shadow Ball, so be it. But I'm going to call it's not, but it is. And I survive! Icy Wind is just so good. Icy Wind is just beautiful. I decided to undercharge this as well. They'd shield it anyways. But the reason why I decided to undercharge was I was going to come in with Jellicent and farm down. Now, hardest hitting move left in the game is Shadow Ball. But it's Shadow Ball on Jellicent because the Shadow Ball on Runerigus is debuffed twice from Icy Wind. So I no shield, and they decide to surrender. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the final battle, we got Trevenant versus Dunsparce. Now, this game, unfortunately, I feel like my opponent, something happened to my opponent's phone, and you guys are going to see it here. I always play it out like it's everything's normal, because I don't know. Sometimes the game is lagging on my side, and yeah, I just, you know, I come back if I stop and then all of a sudden they do 4 extra fast moves because my game was lagging, but clearly their app got closed or something and they come back. So I just wanted to show this game to apologize to my opponent. Whatever happened with your phone, I'm sorry. If you're in the comments and you're like, yeah, this crazy biker came by and closed my phone app, or, you know, my kid came by and ran away with my phone. Something happened, clearly. Because they swap into Shadow Alolan Marowak as well, so I'm going to bring in the Dugong here. We had a 2-to-1 shield advantage, and Dugong does have Drill Run, but it was very interesting. Typically, when people close the app, they don't come back in, right? in this case, clearly something happened. I don't know what. Hopefully they're all right. And I'm sorry because I took advantage of that. So they have an uphill battle to go against me. This happens to you. I'm sure this happens to you guys a lot too, whether you're on their side or on my side. But it's Go Battle League. You know, it's blind threes. There is a Frostlass in the back, so Frostlass would have been pretty tough to deal with this team. I think I could have overcome this team because I have Jellicent with the super effective damage to a Alolan Marowak. I would have done a hard farm on that bad boy. Dunsparce does come in, so we're going to go ahead and no-shield this, and then I'm going to come in with Jellicent and farm down. I don't think I Shadow Clawed down in time with Trevenant in order to survive the rollout, so I got to come in with Jellicent here. I do have Trevenant for a sack swap if I need it, but I don't think I will because I just need to get to Shadow Ball. So I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield here. And this is where things get dangerous. They have triple axle, which means the next move could be a Shadow Ball, but I get there in time. So good game. We'll never know who would have won this game if their app didn't close, but I know what I did. Boom! Sorry. Good game. This team, honestly, pretty fun. Again, Ghost Grass kind of do well because of the Lanturns and Vigoroths in the meta. Jellicent is actually a really good ghost to run in this meta because of its coverages all across the board. They just got to watch out really for Lanturns and Grass, but it can also do well against those with Shadow Ball. So give and take there, but overall this team was pretty fun to use. Climbed a bit, had some really good sets. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.